Hello everyone, I'm Dorothy Spence from Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. Clearly I'm not in Canada right now. I'm actually in Costa Rica learning how to surf. Suki invited me to speak with you at your conference, so this is the best way I know how to do that. I want to start with the beginning of my journey with Shirlaws. My focus has always been with working with what I call purpose-led businesses. And that started day one in my Shirlaws journey. I was attracted to work with the intention and the purpose of Shirlaws to change lives, and specifically for me to reduce fear and increase love in business. These principles were very much aligned with my core values and my personal intent. My personal intent is to expand consciousness through energy mastery. The way that gets expressed is through my personal positioning to catalyze businesses to commercialize their purpose. Suki and I started working together first in a mentoring relationship 3 years ago, and then as part of the team of co-creators of the Culture Integration System. I've been tinkering and prototyping and experimenting with my clients in Halifax and supported by the team both locally and nationally. Here's some of the key learnings from the past 3 years working with clients. Number one, the primary source for the business is the purpose, full stop, no doubt. Purpose-led businesses are full of energy, commitment, and engagement of not only the staff, but the partners and the suppliers and everybody associated to the business. And they grow much faster. In contrast, my experience to working with product-led businesses, it feels like it requires a constant push, and it's difficult to gain momentum. And I find in those businesses, the staff aren't nearly as engaged, and the suppliers don't feel like they have any interest in that business. They are typically in a supplier relationship rather than a partnership. My second key learning is that brand values, and more specifically, behavioral agreements, are the standards, or I call it the fabric of the way communications and relationships flow. It's the way that expectations are set so everybody is clear and healthy in terms of their alignment and energy. And one example I want to talk about is when a first culture project that we did in Halifax was with a company called Ascenta Health. And the owner and CEO of Ascenta Health, his name is Mark St. Ange, and he's very keen on culture. So it was really easy to get the commitment and the resources for the project. And one of the things that we did was we did, perfectly by the script. Here are the three core values, as we called them at that time, and the three meanings for each value, and the behaviors. And yet somehow that project went to the side, and we landed up creating a culture club rather than the standards of behavior. The focus became more on the planned activities and how that was going to be manifested and how much fun that was going to be in the organization. The experience that we had from that project was the energy went up really high from the product launch that a whole theater was rented for. And then it went really low, and I felt that the level of skepticism about culture only increased. And that has always stuck in my mind as really important that first, the behavioral agreements need to be solidly in place. And that work is a lot of work. It's a lot of day-to-day. If that behavior doesn't show up, is there going to be a consequence? Is that going to be rewarded? What's the focus? There's a lot of depth in that work. And the third key learning that I've had from our clients is that self-responsibility is a process. And it requires daily practice, support, and the desire to be conscious. Every thought, idea, relationship, and conversation is an opportunity to grow, evolve, and expand in human potential. And not everyone is interested in being that awake. And now to switch to my own business. A year ago, I decided to get clear about what business I wanted to create. And this work was supported by the Shirlaws Canada team. So I have a theory and a belief that if each one of us becomes more connected to our purpose and got clear about what we wanted to create, as a collective, we would be unstoppable. I used the JUMP framework and mapped out how to grow my business to 600,000. The asset that I'm building is a hub of purpose-led businesses, in essence, an ecosystem with both online and offline products. I'm currently writing a book on energy mastery and purpose-led businesses, and I'm building my personal brand. I believe that by strengthening and clarifying what I want to create, I support our collective prosperity. In Canada, we have recently made a choice to focus our national efforts on purpose-led businesses. In fact, we're going to be meeting as a team at the same time that you're here attending the conference, so stay tuned. The results so far in my business have been more amazing than I had hoped for, and I believe we're just beginning. And so from Canada, Costa Rica, we send our love and support. Enjoy the conference, and we're looking forward to hearing the outcomes of what you guys come up with. Bye.